Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the HerStoryTV and the HerStory podcast. This is Getrude Matshe here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia, and I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating guest. Welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Gertrude, for the immense privilege of having me here today. I'm so grateful for any opportunity just to share a little bit about my story. So my name is Zhang. I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and I'm 32 years old. So a little bit about myself and my background. So my background is Chinese with a bit of Russian in my mother's side. So growing up is kind of your typical, as you would say, Asian type of upbringing where a lot of academics and studying hard was the sign of success, right? So typical Asians, we in the circles, we always hear like, oh, did you do some sort of musicianship? And yes, I am one of those. I was fortunate enough, and I feel very blessed that my parents invested in me learning how to play the piano. So from a young age, I did decide, I was like, okay, that sounds like a great idea, mom and dad, that I think it'll be good to learn how to play something. And piano was the route that we took. So interestingly enough, when I became a teenager, I think that's when the years got a little bit wavy, to say the least, of my choices as any kind of most teenagers in their rebellious stages. I remember a specific moment in time through my piano journey. It was around third grade. I probably was 13, 14 at the time. Mm-hmm. And during that phase, I said to mom, I don't really want to do this anymore. I don't feel like practicing all the time because it's like every day we'd be practicing for at a minimum an hour. And I remember when I was even younger, mom would always say, you remember those days you just cried in front of the piano, made you play those horrible scales? And so I was around 13, 14 where I said, Mom, I don't really want to do this anymore. Oh. To my surprise, though, about a month after, my mom approached me and she said, hey, your piano teacher has been calling. And she said, can you convince him to not give up? Can you tell him that he's got a lot of potential? He's got a lot of talent, and it'd be such a shame if he gave up now. In that moment, I thought it was really strange that someone would consider and see the gift and the talent within me that I couldn't see in myself. It was because of my piano teacher that I decided to continue onwards and finish all of my 8 grades for piano. And today I get to also, through other mentors and other people in my life, I get to be a music director within my own local church, leading a band, learning how to sing, and do a whole bunch of other wonderful things like hosting Christmas carol events, both publicly as well as through corporates. And those were the experiences I never would have had if I hadn't had the influence of that wonderful piano teacher when I was 13 or 14. The power of believing in me was so powerful. And not only just that, but other people like significant figures. My mother, for example, when I was a teenager, Dad had to go to China and he was starting up a business, so he wasn't around for my high school years. Mm-hmm. And so it was really left to mum to take care of me and my older brother. And I remember she'd work every single night. She worked at this factory that produced the plastic molds, things like those Qantas cups and trays that you get on the airplane. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was one time where I thought, I would like to get a job, earn some pocket money, you know. I liked arcades, so going to arcades was cool. So I'm like, if I can earn some more money, I could probably do a little bit more of that, have some fun. And mum managed to get me to a job at that same factory she worked in. But because she worked at night, I would finish school on a Friday. I'd finish at about 3:30. She'd pick me up. I'd get home, and I'd try and sleep for a while because the shift started at 7 p.m. and it had finished the next morning at 7 a.m. Oh. So Friday night, 12-hour shift right after school. And then Saturday, there'd be another 8-hour shift in the evening from 11 to 7. So I did that for a number of months until I guess my body couldn't keep up with it anymore. I remember the nights where I'd just struggle. And I'd be laying in the car trying to get a bit of rest. Mum's like, go take a break, you know, go take a quick bathroom break, rest for a little bit. It was quite intense. And I do remember I feeling sick at some point just because of the fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I really learned from that experience was a deep appreciation for the sacrifice that mum made for me and my brother and our family, and the hard-working woman that she is and still is today. And that taught me so much. I'm so grateful for that. Some people might say, "Oh, that was hard on you." It's like, no, I don't think so. I'd never change that decision because it helped me to grow. And then later on through my high school years, unfortunately, I didn't live out that proverb of what you get out, what you put in. I didn't put in a lot academically, and I definitely didn't get a lot out of it. I'm what you would call like the high school failure. I didn't drop out, but I didn't quite get a great score either. So I was end of high school, just stuffing around, didn't really get anywhere. And I guess the biggest point of me, my turning point and failure moment was that I hadn't put the effort in. I did have my piano skills, so I was banking everything on getting into the Sydney Conservatorium of Music so I can continue my musicianship. And it was a few days before the audition to take the exam to be accepted. I was at a friend's 18th birthday party. We were having a good time. It was night. It was at the end of the night. We were packing things up. I was helping them pack things up. And then I pulled a really stupid stunt. I saw some friends and they were trying to pull the helium balloons by the string hanging from the ceiling. I saw them jumping up and down. And there's a part in the building where it gets really high up. It's hard to reach the string. And I looked and turned and I saw one of my friends. He did this to me. So immediately I thought, okay, great. I can do this. I'll run, I'll jump. He'll give me a boost up and I'm going to grab the string. I'll pull it down. I'm going to be like a hero. Like this is the ninja moment I've wanted my whole life. I've always loved karate movies and stuff. Like this is it. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. I had pictured in my mind. So I ran and I stepped on his hand and I remember he struggled to just break through and push me up and lift me up. I went up into the air, but what had happened was I didn't go straight up. It kind of flipped me and I went horizontally and I fell back down and I broke my left arm.
Oh, no.
Days before my audition. And so I lay in the hospital. I'm like, what do I do now? I'm not really sure. But what I did have was not just my loving family, but I had a loving support group of a Christian youth group and some mentors and my youth pastors that were there, and they accepted me for who I am. They never judged me. And they helped me just overcome a lot of those self-doubt moments. And really, it was that turning point for me to be able to progress. Even from my failure, I could still grow. I could still learn. And I was able to get a job, applied myself. And this time I learned that I will put in the effort.
Yes.
I would work hard as opposed to what I didn't do in high school. I leaned into what I learned from mum and working those night shift days. And through other people I've met, I've gotten to build up more skills. And today I get to be a coach where I help other people develop. I'm a strengths coach through Gallup Certified Strengths, and I help people to discover what is unique about them to help them understand the value. So that's kind of my story.
Oh, wow. What an incredible story and what a journey you've been on. You know, when you and I met, I could relate to your story from your mother's perspective, going to a foreign country with little children, trying to build a new life and just working hard to make that happen. And I'm really glad that you appreciate what your parents actually did for you. It's just incredible. And it sounds to me like your mother became a role model in terms of having that work ethic, knowing what it takes to work hard and put in those hours and get results. Absolutely fascinating. Now, I know that you have 3 major passions in your life. Tell me a little bit about your passions and the reason why you do what you do.
Absolutely. So my 3 passions are, number 1, it's faith, then it's family, and it's the people in this world. Faith, because like I said, that turning point really was discovering who I am and being a Christian is all about knowing that I am loved, that no matter what I do, I am loved. How bad I get, and I experienced it through the people that I met, and knowing that significance has then changed who I am and how I see the world.
Yes.
So because I received such great love and such forgiveness, that's now my passion to them to express that outwardly to people that I meet all around, to accept them for who they are and just love them for who they are, because that is the greatest thing. The greatest gift is that you are different to me, and so is everybody else. You know, we look at our fingerprint. There's no one else that has it. That's just fascinating. Like, how could that be in 7 billion people in the world?
Yeah. So celebrating that uniqueness. Yes. I absolutely love that. Now, to go back to the younger you, I've been running a series called The Power of Education. And you had one teacher who saw your potential and reflected that potential back to you. A lot of people don't even know or even scratch the surface of the potential that they have. As a coach, as a mentor, doing what you do right now, if somebody was to ask you for help as a coach so they could meet their goals, what 3 nuggets of wisdom would you impart to those people so they can actually see themselves for who they are?
Yeah, that's a great question. The first one I'd have to say is really look for what you're already good at. And this is something we skip over really easily, because part of your strengths and your natural talents is that because it's so natural to you, because you just kind of innately do these things, we overlook the fact that there are our strengths. For example, if you can build great relationships with people, you just seem to connect instantly with people. I know so many people that say, I don't really realize that's a strength that I have. I think it's just something that I do. But you don't understand how important it is to build these relationships and connections that creates opportunities and creates teamwork. It creates more creativity and innovation when you work collaboratively as opposed to individually.
Yes.
Just the first thing, just have a look at what's already in your hands. Because it's what's in your hands already that you can start to use and develop that to grow beyond to what you think you can become.
I want to stop you right there before you go any further. That was number one, right?
Sure.
So my grandmother used to say that when a child is born, we're born with our little fists clutched. She would say we come into this world holding onto our gifts. They're in your hands. And you're right. It's those intuitive things that come without you being told how to do it. I mean, I was one of those kids at the back of the class talking all the time, being punished for talking. And now I get paid to do it. Exactly. It turned into a career, right? But a lot of people don't realize that your life purpose is in your intuitive gifts.
Yes.
The reason why you're on the planet, you look at people like Bill Gates, playing with computers is not work for him. It's play. He's just having fun.
That's right.
Okay, that was number one. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to jump in there.
No, I love it. I love that. It's so good because it's so true. The moment you're born, you've got these gifts within you, and that's what makes you unique and so different and valuable. So what was I going to say for the second one? The second one is this is something that I've been adopting a lot more and being more conscious, which is to learn to do it afraid. Even when you don't
do it afraid. Okay.
That's right. Learn to do it afraid. Yes. And so even if you don't have the perfect form or the perfect preparation to how you're delivering, let's say, a talk or a presentation, or you're facilitating a workshop, it's all about exploring it. And it's starting, just like with the previous point, what do you already have? It's only until you start to apply something will you then get the feedback to look at, okay, what could I learn from this? Because now that I've learned what works and what doesn't work, I can then progress to the next stage. And then, drawing inspiration from the great inventors of the past, right? Like Thomas Edison and the light bulb. It's like he didn't say I failed 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways not to do a light bulb.
I love that.
Looking at it differently.
Yeah.
See, that'll be my second point around learning to do it afraid.
And that learning to do it afraid, again, I'm going to stop you because I'm going to keep jumping in. There's so many nuggets here.
Go for it.
It's that thing about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Even if you get it wrong, you're going to learn something along the way. A lot of people are scared to get things wrong.
Yes.
And yet the getting it wrong is just the stepping stone to the next thing. Whenever
That's
I
right.
fail, I'm like, okay, been there, done it. I've got the damn T-shirt. I won't do it that way again.
That's
So
right.
every failure is just a lesson. It's a teaching,
Correct.
correct? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Like
And we've
that.
got to see it that way. Like we can always
Okay.
see it as failed. That's it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can create these reinforcing self doubt and negative beliefs about, well, see,
Yes.
I tried it, I failed, I told you I couldn't do it. And they can
Hmm.
end up in this loop of never moving past it. It's just look at what you can learn and then try something different. And
Yeah.
reframing it, that's essentially what you're saying, is to reframe what is failure. It's just let it be a teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
I
only
love
truly fail when you give up.
that. Hmm.
But failure is part of that learning process,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Totally agree. The third one.
The third one, and this is kind of tied into the other two things that are really important to me, and it's the people around you.
Okay.
It's so important to surround yourself with people who will lift you up and motivate you.
Yeah.
You've got to connect with other people who will support you, who will love you for who you are, and it's really about not looking for people who want something from you all the time. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like if I'm always trying to lift people up, if I'm always trying to say, come on, let's do this, and they're just always dragging me down,
Yes.
there can be only so far that you can go.
Yeah.
And once in a while, you just need somebody else that can lift you up for a change.
So the people you surround yourself are important. The people we
Absolutely.
have around us in our inner circle. You have to be around
Absolutely.
people who positively reinforce your vision, your dreams, and keep you uplifted. I
Absolutely.
absolutely love that.
And so to me, it's an environment you can create. It's within your
Yes.
control. Sometimes we feel like it's outside of our control.
Hmm.
You can't control who your family is right now, but
Yeah.
you can choose your friends. You can choose who your mentors are. So
Yes.
so choose wisely, creating that environment so that when you do fail, you've got someone else that can help you see that it's not a failure; it's a moment for learning.
Yeah.
It's creating those types of atmospheres for growth.
Absolutely awesome. Now, what would you say is your proudest moment personally and in business?
Yeah, straight away, personally, it would be my family.
Okay.
Being a husband and being a father, I think it's the greatest privilege, the greatest challenge, and the greatest gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really,
I love that.
just having three beautiful children, so a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old, a daughter and two boys. Um, I love just watching how unique they are, how
Yes.
their personalities differ, and how we can see to turn certain dominant parts of their lives into strengths. Because
Yes.
my daughter, she's very strong-willed. She's very determined. She's a high achiever naturally, and she gets really competitive. So when she loses, she just is deeply upset by that. And so, like,
Oh,
I don't want to break that. I want to mold
yes.
that into turning it into how can you channel that desire, that drive into helping you succeed, but also to celebrate even the moments when it doesn't work out the way you
Yes.
wanted to. So they're teaching me how to become a better father, better husband, better leader. My
Yeah.
wife's great. She's always just challenging me to, be balanced and be there, be present, put away the phone, put away the devices, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah, they really, really help me. So the proudest thing I can say is my family.
And in business, what would you say has been your biggest achievement?
In business, I'd say would be launching my business, growing intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
I've just started to follow my passion after many
Yeah.
years of working within a corporate setting and
Yeah.
discovering my own strengths and discovering my coaching ability of helping others discover their own strengths and discover success in the day to day. It'll
Right.
be, like I said earlier, doing it afraid. When I first
Yes.
started, I started this online mastermind group, and it was around communication. How do we really connect with people when we're communicating? Because anybody
Yeah.
can talk. It doesn't take a lot of energy to just get up and talk about stuff that but it
Yeah.
takes a great deal of energy to connect with people so they can relate
Mm-hmm.
to you, so they know and feel that what you're saying is important to not only yourself, but it will also be important to them.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah, I
me,
have
it
to
was
say, I
well
have to
now.
say, one of your biggest strengths, we haven't met in person, but the little communication we've had is you're a very good listener, and I know how to talk, and I can talk somebody's ear off.
So could
But
I. So
what
could
I
I.
did feel when we were having that first conversation, because there's listening and there's listening, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people listen just to get past the conversation and they're thinking, oh, I've got another meeting coming up in 10 minutes, or something I should have done before I left home. And people fail to be fully present to each other.
Mm,
And it's
yeah.
in being present where the magic really happens in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love
Absolutely.
that. So
One of the
where,
things,
mhm,
sorry, just really sparked a thought in me about being present. And one of the things I
yeah.
usually share with people that being present is a gift in and of itself. That's why it's called the present. It's a gift you
Oh,
are giving by
yes.
being fully there and attentive.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing like a person who is not just there listening in the background, but you heard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when the little synchronistic happenings, oh, you're so lucky. How do you meet this person? How do you do that?
Yeah,
It does
yeah,
happen in being present to anyone
absolutely.
who crosses your path, forgetting about everything else that's going on and just being with them in that moment. I love that.
Yeah,
So, where do
precisely.
you see yourself, let's say 100 years from now, if we could imagine that time was an illusion, your past, your present, your future exists in the same timeline. And
Yes,
I could teleport you to the 100-year-old you, and you
yes,
are sitting in your rocking chair with your grandchildren running around. If you
yes,
could have a conversation with the future James, based on how you have lived your life and the dreams and the visions that you have already achieved because you're there, right? What would you
yes.
say to him,
So what would I say to the future me?
to the future you? Yeah.
Hmm. I would ask a few questions because that's the type of person that I am. I'll be like, so what kind of failures did you go through?
Okay. Okay.
That'd be an interesting one. It's kind of like what was that real challenging moment, and what did you draw on to overcome them?
Right.
I
Yeah.
definitely would love to learn from this future version of myself. And the other thing
Yes.
I would say is, what did you surprise yourself with that you didn't think you could achieve?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a very
Yeah,
good one. Yeah, I do this in a meditative state sometimes when I'm trying to figure something out and I feel that I can do it. I just don't know
yeah,
how. I
yeah.
believe that we have the answer already.
Mm,
And time
absolutely.
is an illusion. It's a construct that human beings have put together. So we show up at 5 o'clock and finish at 5. I mean, at
Yes.
9 o'clock and finish at 5, but time doesn't exist. So we
Mm,
can tap into the future version of ourselves and ask
absolutely.
ourselves questions. And sometimes for me, it comes up in my dreams, it comes up in a conversation I'm having with someone, and they'll say one word that is connected to the thing I'm trying to figure out, and there the answer is.
Yeah.
So try
Nice.
that next time if you want to ask, how did I surprise
That's a good
myself?
one. I
It's
definitely. I
already there. It's already there.
absolutely.
So,
That's a good one.
James, my last question for you is there any question I should have asked you?
Oh, good question. I like that one. Hmm. That's a good one. You've got me, Gertrude.
Good.
You've got me stumped. I'm gonna throw it back to you and say, ask me whatever you want.
The reason why I throw that in there is that sometimes, I've got my crazy idea of what I want to get out of my interview candidates, right? But there could be
Yes,
something else that you might want to share with the audience. So it's just an
yes,
opportunity really for you to tell us a little bit more. Maybe
yeah,
there's
it's
something
great.
that I left out, but I think I've done a good job, right?
You've asked me some fantastic questions. Really, really.
James, it's been an absolute pleasure reconnecting with you and sharing you with our
Likewise.
community. For those of you who didn't know, yes, it's called the Her Story platform, but we do include men. 25% of our speakers, our interview subjects are male. I believe that until we start having men coming into the rooms where we are having women's empowerment issues, conferences, summits, nothing is going to change with the condition of women worldwide. So we welcome you to register to participate in our upcoming conference. James is going to be one of our presenters. He will be running a workshop. Please go onto the website, theherstorycircle.com. We're looking for speakers right now. And James, thank you again for this amazing interview. It's always fun to reconnect with you.
The feeling is totally mutual. Thank you so much for the privilege, and thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you, everybody. I'll be back again with yet another amazing guest. Have a fantastic day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Bye for now. Thank you, James.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.